Hey guys, what's up? It's Spencer from PureGrainAudio. I'm downtown Toronto here, outside the Rec Room. What better way to celebrate the end of a 36-day garbage strike by going to a show with Goatwhore? I'm here with lead singer Ben.
36-day what?
Garbage strike.
Oh, you had a garbage strike here?
Yep, that's why everything's so messy.
Still looks better than some of the places I've been in the U.S.
Well, I don't know about that, but
A 36-day garbage strike. That's pretty sick, man.
yeah, sick, disgusting. Not sick with a PH.
No, yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, to start off, you guys have about 2 weeks left on the Conquer and Curse summer tour. How's it been? How are the bands that you've been playing with?
It's been really good, man. All the bands have been amazing, man. They're all unique in their own way. They offer something different within extreme music, so it's been going really well, man. You know, some shows haven't been as great as others, but I think too, you know, we're kind of battling against Summer Slaughter and the Monster Mayhem Fest.
Okay.
And those kind of things during the summer now kind of conflict when you do tours. I mean, everybody's only got so much money, so it's not like I can go, oh, all right, I'm going to go to Summer Slaughter, and I'm going to go to Monster Mayhem, and I'm going to go see Goatwhore and Abigail Williams. You know, you kind of have to decide and everything. And I know it's kind of close right now, the Monster Mayhem thing, so it probably plays a little role in that. But overall, even if there's a small amount of people, we're still having a good time.
How have the crowds been responding to the songs off your new album in a live set?
Really good. We've been playing 6 songs from the new record.
Okay.
Usually we kind of mix it up a little more, but we just kind of went all out and do the 6 and then do a mixture of songs from other records from there.
All right, that's cool. Well, speaking of the new release, it was only released about a little over a month ago. How does it feel now that it's finished, and how do you feel about the record and the new music?
I think I'm really pleased. I'll speak for everyone that I'm pretty sure everyone's pretty pleased with how everything came out with it and how things are going. This is the early stage of it, so we still have a lot of work to do. You know, we have a lot of touring to do. We got a tour we're going to be doing after this with Obituary. We'll be back through Toronto and all up here again as well. It's about 4 weeks, 5 weeks or something on that tour. And then we have a tour we're being talked about. We'll probably do in November. I won't say anything yet.
All right.
You know, we don't want to jump the gun. Hopefully more things will kind of pile up after that. But the response from it's been really good. You know, playing it live's been really good. We're really happy with how the whole album came out.
It's great to hear, man. And the press seems to be feeling the same way. I mean, how does it feel to have everyone speaking so highly of the new album?
It's never really been a concern. I mean, it is cool that we all get a lot of response from it and everything. I think the only thing is, like, I think that I hope it helps us get out a little more outside of North America.
Okay.
You know, because I think that's where we're kind of falling short right now, is we're not being able to go overseas as much, or Japan, or Australia, or things like that. You know, we hit North America fairly well.
Okay.
U.S., Canada, we go through there a bunch. So I'm hoping that maybe because of, you know, the reaction we're getting from press and everything like that, that'll open it up and get us the possibility to go to Europe. Maybe even open up, you know, fests in Europe for next summer or something like that. So it's definitely cool, and it's definitely a beneficial thing. But I think sometimes we don't really sit down and read about a lot of the stuff, you know, that goes on with ourselves. So I guess we kind of overlook it or whatever, and we just keep doing what we like to do. So it doesn't play like a big kind of picture with us.
All right, yeah. So it's basically just what you guys want. Doesn't matter what the other guy says, right?
Well, no. I mean, we really don't care what anybody says. We're going to do what we like to do, you know. But we do appreciate the interest, you know, and the people that are into it and how things are going and stuff like that. It's just that it's always been something with us where it never really played a role with us. We never were really bothered by it or anything.
Okay, well, in terms of the album title, Carving Out the Eyes of God, it sounds like there's a pretty powerful theme there. Can you elaborate on this and what it discusses?
Actually, too, it was the first song on the record that had lyrics and everything completely done that we did. And we played it a few times live before we ever started, you know, getting into the studio or anything like that. And it came from some things. It comes from the basic idea where God created everything in 6 days, and on the 7th day He rested. Before you have Sunday, everybody goes to church and rest and all this other stuff. But there was some things I read with Clive Walker, some short stories I read, where on the 7th day, God didn't rest.
Okay.
He actually, in this haze and wariness of creating for the 6 days. And he continued creating, and he created everything that was sinister, vile, and evil in the world.
Okay.
And so it shows that a God that everyone looks up to has flaws. And that's why we're flawed as well. I mean, basically the idea that we were created in the image of God, per se, then he would be flawed as well, because we're already flawed as humans.
Okay.
So, you know, it's a basis of that, but there was also other things written about, like, there's different theories of, like, the anger of God and the hatred of God and things. And when everybody thinks of God, they always think of the perfect being, all-knowing, all-powerful, created everything, and not ever have any kind of hatred or anger. But everything has some kind of side to it. You know, nothing is perfect. And that's what the basis of carving out the eyes of God is. It's the idea of we're flawed, you know, and you can't sit there and put things over you, put a pedestal over you and have these things higher than you, when we're all pretty much the same. Even the things you believe in are on the same kind of level.
It's an interesting theory, man. It's really intense. Okay, well, we're obviously a Toronto-based easing. How do you find Canadian fans react to Goatwhore versus other fans from around the world?
I think, actually, I won't say just like Canadian. I mean, I think every city is kind of different in its own way. The people are different in every city. The way people react in different cities, you know. And I have to say, though, every time we've been to Canada, it's always been really good shows. Even if they weren't packed, and it was a few people, or if they were packed, there was still a lot of energy, and the people that were there really got into it. So we always love coming up here to play all the time, as much as we can, even though sometimes certain tours don't allow us, depending on whatever tour we're on. But you know, we're lucky that, you know, coming up we have this tour, and we're going to be back in like a month and a half. So it's awesome, and I think we still have a lot of work to do here too, as well. You know, even though it's, you know, the whole North American kind of market and everything, it's still work here that, you know, we want to progress on, because it's a whole different area. But we were talking about possibly doing something maybe in the spring of next year or something, when, you know, everything melts down a little bit, and maybe work out some kind of tour with like another Canadian band, like maybe somebody like Neuraxis or 3 Inches of Blood or something like that, and do a stretch for like 3 weeks from west to east or east to west, and try to hit like little cities and hit all these little different odd markets, because we do it in the States sometimes. Like when we don't have big tours, we'll do little shows around in the U.S. in like smaller towns that usually don't get any kind of shows, and they're usually pretty crazy, because kids don't get much there, and so they all come out and they have a good time, you know. And that's the only thing. We don't mind touring, man. We do it a lot. So whenever we get a chance, we try to do as much of it as possible and think of different ways to kind of fund it. Maybe even we were thinking of something like hitting Alaska, because they said that there's like some kind of market in Anchorage right now, and you go to Anchorage, and then you come back and maybe start in Victoria, and then play Victoria, Vancouver, and go through BC a little bit, then go through Alberta, and then keep going through a stretch all the way to like Halifax or something, you know. So hopefully something like that will pan out. But overall, the shows are pretty damn good. Even, like I said, even with a few people, they've been pretty intense. Like the people that were there were really into it.
Sure, man. Do you guys get to get out and like visit the city, like at all, Toronto? Other than pizza, of course.
Yeah, pizza. You know, it's funny because I hate, whenever we get to venues, I never want pizza, but it's like right now I needed some kind of quick food fix, and it was pizza on the fucking corner. But sometimes we do, you know. So like when we did the western part of this tour, we had like 2 days off to drive from Calgary to Vancouver. So we went through interior BC, and we stopped at some, you know, scenic stuff and saw things. We went to this thing called Hell's Gate. It's like this gorge this river runs through, and for some reason at that point in the gorge, like they would build a railroad through along the gorge, and the side of the gorge fell in the water, and it made that part of the river the most intense. And what happened was it started killing off a huge population of salmon because of the intensity in the water right there. And then they built all these like little like spawning grounds, and so when the river rises and everything, the fish can go in there and spawn and not have to rush through the area that's really the fastest and most narrow part. And so they rebuilt the salmon population. Well, they call it Hell's Gate. There's like this gondola thing that goes across it. And we worked out a deal with them, and we swapped tickets, like for the Vancouver show, for tickets to go across the little gondola thing. We went and checked out Hell's Gate. It's interesting. Nice. You know, it's like sightseeing stuff, but sometimes you don't get to do it because it's like town. You know, 9-hour drive, get to the town, load in, play, leave, 9-hour drive. You know, so every now and then you do, and every now and then you don't, you know. So it all depends. But when we do get a chance, we try to get out and check out things for sure.
That's cool. So what does Goatwhore have planned for the rest of '09 and early 2010?
Just a lot of touring, man.
Yeah?
A lot of touring. We got a video coming out actually, probably I'd say maybe in a month or so. It's for the song Apocalyptic Habit.
All right.
We shot it at the beginning of this tour in Baltimore with the same guy who did the other two videos that we did for the last record, Dave Bodsky. So we have that coming out. I think we're gonna do like a little contest involving the video too, like something for fans to be a part of. You know, like I'm thinking like maybe like an iPod giveaway and have the videos on it, give all the records. I don't know, some kind of like little. Something kind of beef up the interest again or something, you know, whatever. Win the iPod, you can sell it on eBay to somebody. Who cares? But yeah, so we'll do that, you know. And like I said, we got the Obituary tour coming up in September, going into the beginning part of October. In November, we got a tour that we're being talked about. But I'm not going to say too much about it, but you know, just keep your eyes and ears peeled. And from there, you know, everything just kind of tumbles out. We want to keep touring and doing what we have to do, but we're not really sure what's going to happen. What's going forward. It's cool.
Do you have any final thoughts before we go? Anything you want to say to the fans?
Let's see. Yeah, I always say this. It's becoming my final thought thing, because for the longest time when I did videos, I could never come up with any final thoughts. You know, just like your usual. Oh, I like to thank the fans. You know. It's not that. I have this thing about the downloading thing.
Okay.
And because everybody's like, oh no, another band. I'm not against it at all. You know, it's inevitable. People do it. You know, it's kind of there. It's almost like it's like a. How do you explain it? It's hard to explain actually. It's like it's there. You can't really do anything about it.
Yeah.
You know, and I think for one, it benefits bands, but it can't hurt them. It's funny that the bigger bands like Metallica and these bands, they whine about it the most, when bands with all these fans and trailers are the ones that probably hurt the most from it. But all of these bands seem more content with having it and being able to do it because it introduces them to more people. The only thing I ask is, and this isn't just for us, this is any band that you would download or anything like that, if you download the stuff and you're really into it and you really like what they do and you go to the show, buy a shirt. You know, or give them a couple of bucks for gas, or you know, whatever. You can give them $1. You know, if 20 people gave $1 each that downloaded the record to the band, that's $20 they can put in their gas station.
Exactly.
You know, to move to the next thing. So that would be the only thing I would ask, especially for bands like this. I don't say give $1 to Metallica, you know, because we know they all have enough dollars. So. But for at least for these bands, man, you know, they work hard, you know, and they bring crazy, different, extreme music. So. You know, even if you download it and you don't want the CD, buy a shirt or buy a sticker or anything. Or like I said, just give them $1 or two. But definitely, I have no problem with it whatsoever because it's definitely a good growing tool.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you very much for talking with us. And check out their new video and the new album, Carving Out the Eyes of God.